Hello YouTube, welcome back to Matt's Country. This is the partial rebuild of the HW30S. I hope you enjoyed the previous video. I hope you mocked me suitably whilst I was desperately trying to take the barrel out by knocking these pins out, which don't come out, and then had to pause, run off to YouTube, find out how to do it, and then discover it was this little metal pin here that needed knocking out. Hope you enjoyed all those things. Now, this is now partially back together and I have learnt some more lessons. I did not video them, I didn't record them because, to be honest, it was all a bit of a shambles, shambolic, and I do these in one take. I'm not going to take it apart and put it back together over and over again and practice and trim it all back together until it's ready, because that's not how this is. This is about me in real life. So the lessons that have been learnt are thus. Make sure when you refit the barrel on this, you refit it at a slight angle. It's quite difficult, like that. It is a fraction easier. Make sure that this hinge has been oiled. On this gun, it was very stiff. Get a little drop of oil in there, see if you can loosen it up. The barrel fits back easier if it is like this rather than straight. Don't know why. Think it's to do with the compression of the barrel lock ball in there. Do not, repeat, do not try to refit the barrel with the spring compressed. You need the piston in because the piston has to have this cocking lever engaged. So piston in, cocking lever through there. Don't need to worry about the pin to start with. Barrel at an angle. Make sure you put the shims back in, grease them. Make sure, as with all Weihrauchs, that you put the bolt through the correct way. Do this on all Weihrauchs. Do this with no pressure, no cocking lever, no shims. Just put the bolt through one way and you'll realise that it goes through one way relatively easily, and then it catches the threads at the other end, and the other end threads go through the piston mechanism, this whole body, this forearm, and then you put the nut on. So make sure you know which order that goes in so you don't end up trying to push in from the wrong end, because that's a classic Weihrauch error that we've all made in the past many times. Once you've got the barrel hinge bolt through with its spring washer, its shim greased, and then the nut with its other spring washer, once that's all done, then you need to recompress the spring. Now, I found a way to do it. It is not a case of pushing down on the desk, not one-handed anyway. So if you don't have a spring compressor, and many people don't, this is the way I did it. I put a piece of cloth over the end of the barrel to protect it. I then needed to find a very solid wall, not plasterboard in your house, don't damage your house. You want to go outside, find a bit of brick wall. You push this onto the wall. You then use your piece of wood, preferably even bigger than this, on this, and you brace it on your waist. This end goes on the wall. You then push with all your might, and it's very easy because if you push down slightly at an angle, the amount of pressure you can push on it with your waist is quite remarkable. Don't try your chest or your stomach. Try and get something down near your pelvis, and you push like that. Make sure that you've got the little grub screw handy, and if at all possible, make sure you have a piece of cloth or something on the floor to catch the grub screw when you miss the first time, because you probably will miss the first time. I'm not saying I'm old and wise. I'm saying that I'm old and I'm stupid and I've made a lot of mistakes and I've learnt from those mistakes, and dropping screws on the ground outside isn't the way forward. So take a bit of cloth out there so that when you drop it the first time, you're ready. Make sure you've got your screwdriver ready, and as you compress that with your hip, make sure that the mechanism and the block that you're pushing back upward is in line. And it's very easy to see. It's very, very easy. You might find it easier to put a little tiny marker, maybe a little tiny blob of Tipex or other white things, so that as the right hole comes in line, you can see it and you know you're ready to go. Anyway, once that's done, it's a case of putting the trigger back in. That's a classic Weihrauch thing. Make sure you put the safety catch in before the trigger goes in. So you put the safety with its spring in there, then you push down on this, and you'll be able to see through the holes. Once again, using one of these, one of your cheating centre punches, i.e. a blunt nail, put that through one of the location holes, and then you'll be able to see the other one, and then you'll be able to use your little hammer and go tap, 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 and put it in. And then you're pretty much done then. You then need to make sure you have pushed this pin back through here. Now, this was not the easiest Weihrauch I've ever taken apart. I have to be honest, I'd say the 95 is probably an easier gun. This spring is under a bit more pressure than I expected. Didn't shoot me into the stratosphere, but it was. And I'm glad I've taken it apart because I've learned a lot, and I hope you've learned a lot too. So, joking apart, we all make mistakes. I'm not going to cover them up, that's not who I am. I am here to help you lot. Hopefully you'll learn stuff from me, and if you don't, then, you know, give it a thumbs down. If you want to, unsubscribe, do what you got to do. If you've enjoyed it, subscribe. Maybe you haven't subscribed yet, but I invite you to do so. I'm never going to make money out of this YouTube lark. This is all about trying to make sure that if I've messed up, you don't mess up in the future. That's what it's all about. Right, 6 minutes video, that's enough. It's been emotional. I wish you a good day. Goodbye.